Does Saturn like Pisces? I don't know. You ever tried changing the flow of a rushing river?
That's just
Weird.
strange.
Who does that?
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Solar Systems, where we understand the system your soul goes into. And on this astrological breakdown, we're breaking down Saturn in Pisces. So before we actually start breaking down Saturn in Pisces, let's actually talk about the timeline of Saturn being in Pisces. So Saturn entered Pisces on March 7th in 2023, where it will remain until May 24th of 2025, where it will enter Aries for a short period of time. On September 1st in 2025, it'll retrograde back into Pisces, where it will remain until February 13th of 2026. So Saturn's going to be in Pisces for a little bit. So let's break this down. Saturn in Pisces. So let's start with Saturn. Saturn is the planet of boundaries, restrictions, limits, reality, time. Now Saturn is exalted in Libra. It's at home in Capricorn and Aquarius. Aquarius being the masculine side of Saturn and Aquarius being the feminine side of Saturn. It is away in Cancer and Leo, and it falls in Aries. So Saturn entering Aries, well, we'll get to that when we get to it. So let's break down Pisces, right? Pisces, the 12th zodiac sign, was birthed from the 12th house, the astrological house that has to do with spirituality, the astral realm, the spirit realm, your subconscious, your connection to your spirit. Pisces is mutable water, being adaptable and changeable to different ways of feeling and adding emotion to things. And Pisces is exalted in Venus, it is ruled in Jupiter and co-ruled by Neptune, and it's away in Mercury. Saturn and Pisces together. What happened? Well, this depends. Now Saturn doesn't necessarily like nor dislike Pisces, it's kind of in between. However, this becomes more apparent when we actually talk about the work process of you actually building structure, building a routine, building a work pattern, and sticking to something. The big thing to keep in mind here is actually the motivation, the driving force behind Pisces. And that is some sort of feeling, some sort of emotion, being relatable, relating to other people, ebbing and flowing. Think about it like this. It's easier to guide the waters before it even starts flowing rather than to change the direction that the water's flowing while it's already in motion. Because if it's already in motion, you have to not only spend a lot of energy to stop it, you also have to spend the energy to get it going again. Emotion pushes the Pisces flow. If they're not feeling it, then they're not going to work. And we actually dive a little bit deeper into Saturn and Pisces. You have to understand, how do Pisces see the world? How does Pisces see reality? Because what they want is a nice place where they can go out and experience, be relatable, get into situations, and go with the flow, right? However, when there's a certain work process, a certain routine that goes against that flow, and if their flow doesn't match up with the flow that's being presented to them, then they're not exactly going to vibe with it. And it can get them hard to actually stick with that flow and actually work on whatever it is, or do whatever that flow is. However, if a Pisces starts something, then you know they really want to start it, because they started it. Once they catch that emotion, once they catch that feeling, that wave that they want to ride, they're going to ride it. And this is actually where Saturn likes being with Pisces, because once you get that emotion going, once you get that flow started, it's very hard to actually stop a Saturn and Pisces person from actually doing what they started. So the biggest downside to Saturn and Pisces is actually getting them to tag along on something that's being presented to them, because if they don't feel it, they're not going to do it. But if they start something, then you know they feel it. Now the other thing to keep in mind here is the whole Venus relationship that we have going on with Saturn, Pisces, and of course Venus. And this is keeping in mind that Venus is in home in Libra, but Saturn is exalted in Libra. If a Pisces can get you on their wave, if a Pisces can relate to you and you can relate to that Pisces, then Saturn's going to love this because it has a little buddy to tag along. It has someone who can share this work routine, this structure, this stability with someone. If a Pisces can relate the way that they see the world, their structure, their worldview to you and get you to tag along with them, Saturn of course is going to love this because it loves relating, it loves getting people to hop on board with it. Pisces has no problem going with the flow and actually staying in bounds of whatever structure has been presented to it, as long as it likes the flow. If it doesn't like the flow, it's not going to do it, which may be met with some resistance between Saturn and Pisces. Again, if you're trying to redirect a flow into a way that it doesn't want to go, then you're going to have a hard time getting a Saturn and Pisces person to actually do work with you. However, if the Pisces start something and they can relate it to other people and they get other people on board, then you know Saturn and Pisces isn't going to have a problem. Now, since Saturn is going to be in Pisces for a couple of years, you need to understand where you have Pisces in your astrological chart and actually understanding what chakra system of yours is going to be affected by this Saturn and Pisces transit. And if you want a chart to break all that down, we got a chart like that. It's called the solar map. So let's break down everything we just talked about real quick, and I'll see you later. Saturn, the planet of structure, boundaries, restriction, limits, how you see reality, time, is exalted in Libra. It's at home in Capricorn and Aquarius, and it is away in Cancer and Leo, and it falls in Aries. Now Pisces, the 12th zodiac sign, was birthed from the 12th house, the house of spirituality, the spirit realm, the astral realm, your subconscious, and your connection to your spirit. Pisces is mutable water, being adaptable and changeable to different ways of feeling and adding emotion to things. It's exalted in Venus, it's ruled in Jupiter and co-ruled in Neptune, and it's away in Mercury. So does Saturn like Pisces? Well, now you know. And until next time, fly high, y'all.